Happy Friday. I hope everyone's had a good week. Everybody's ended well, unless you have to work on weekends. I know some people do. But if you're done, yay! I've been done for a couple of days, obviously, because we've had our little staycation going. I definitely thought it was Sunday at least 3 times today. So I kept being like, oh no, it's Sunday. And I was like, it's actually Friday. I have 2 more days. Feels really nice. But since it's part of our staycation and we couldn't go away like we wanted to, we were going to go stay at a nice little B&B and we were going to have some nice meals out. That's why I made the donuts for us to eat on for the 4-day weekend. So it worked out. It made more than the dozen it said it did. But I'm making one of our kind of standard fancy meals that we have, I don't know, maybe once a month, once every month. But when I got the stuff, Sean was very excited, and I was like, oh, I don't think I've made it yet. He's like, I know you haven't made it yet for cooking with Kaitlin. So he's keeping track. All right, so I'm going to tell you what we do. We make steak. He has a baked potato. I have a baked sweet potato. We do roasted asparagus, which I think I actually might have made that recipe before, but that's fine. It's just one repeat. And then if we're feeling real fancy, we will have some caprese and some sliced bread, and further dip it in the oil and the vinegar on the caprese. And we're doing that tonight. And we already have dessert, obviously, because we have brownies and ice cream. Like, we're set. And it's good because this is pretty much our main meal of the day. We had our breakfast, and then we went walking, how people do if they walk. And then I ate a Nutri-Grain bar and a banana. I don't know if he ate anything after breakfast. I don't know. All right, but this dinner, because everything cooks at different times and needs to come out at different times, you have to know what takes the longest. It's planning. It's that brain up there. Maybe the weekend, but I can still do it, mainly because I've done it many times. So we start with our potatoes. They've been washed. I think you can see they're kind of very shiny in the light. So we do that. Got them. We're going to put them in aluminum foil. But first, you want to make sure they steam and cook. So you just poke with a fork all around various points of your potato. Helps it cook. All I know. There's some science. It's like steaming effect, I assume. It's not having to break out. Went too deep on that one. So you just kind of holes all over. Like in the movie Holes. Holes everywhere. What you want. Alright. And everything I read is like, do this and then put it in aluminum foil. It gets so much healthier. So put it in aluminum foil first. Decrease your mess. Oh, by the way, our oven is preheated to 400 degrees. That's what we need it on. And I'm going to put you down here because otherwise you're just listening to me talk about what I'm doing. All right. You don't do a lot to them before they go in the oven because they're really just kind of the outside of it. So we want to make sure it cooks up well. So I always kind of make it like a little basket, little bowl. Put just a little bit of olive oil, just as much. And you just do a little bit of salt. That's it. So you just get it all coated. And we set it over on our pan that's lined. And then you're wondering why it's double aluminum foil. It's for the asparagus because we put it on there when it's ready. There we go. Spread it out in our preheated oven. Alright, we'll be back in a little bit. I just realized I didn't tell you. We're back in a little bit because that's going to take like an hour and 20 minutes, so it's the longest thing. The asparagus only takes about 35. The steak is about 15 to 20. So we've got some time here, and even I think I'll make the caprese next because that's the appetizer. So we'll be back after I wash this one hand and move ingredients around. Alright, we're going to start off by cutting up the bread to set aside, and then we'll get the stuff ready for caprese. Obviously, we don't need all this bread for this recipe, and I kind of folded it when I was moving it somewhere. So it kind of split itself, which was nice. We're just going to use the smaller of the two halves. We'll save this for another recipe. There we go. Peel it back. I did ask for French bread. This is country French bread. It's similar, but not quite the same, but it works. Bread is bread, ultimately. And bread is great. So tasty. Alright. It's got our bread knife. It's got this little kind of bit hunkering on. Just kind of set it to the side here. And since it's got these ridges, they work really nicely to kind of start where we're cutting. We probably don't need all of it all there. Sean might, since he didn't eat a real lunch. And from there, we could just leave it like this. I know us, so I'm actually going to cut it into a few other little more bite-sized pieces. Because one of the ideas I'm thinking for this, if we don't use all the bite-sized pieces, they'll work fine for that. Gotta see if I've got the other stuff for what I'm thinking. Alright. So there, in case you're unaware, let's see, it just winds up looking kind of nice and fancy. Like when you go to the restaurants. They've got your little bread just ready to dip into some oil and vinegar. That. If you got a dish for it, we do, but since we're going to have our caprese on stuff with the oil and vinegar, I think I'm just going to leave that for that. Otherwise, we'll waste oil we aren't going to wind up eating. But see, the bread's all ready. Part of our appetizer is done. You guys are like, Kaitlin, all you did was literally slice bread. But he did do it. Alright. Got our tomatoes, some nice juicy ripe tomatoes. Don't know if we're going to use all of them. Let's see how much they cut up. They've been washed. Just going to cut those up. Probably just wind up using 2 of them. And we've talked about how I have never know quite what to do, so I do that. If you've got a tip for me on how to better cut that, I would love to hear it. Alright, it's got our tomatoes. If we had one big chunk of mozzarella, I'd leave them like this, but what they had were all these little balls of mozzarella. So I'm going to wind up just kind of make the ratio work doing this. We're going to see how this works on the plate. Nice juicy tomatoes. Yeah, so we'll kind of layer. So we're going to do one more tomato. I'll save the other 2 for another recipe. But how have you guys been? What did you get to do today? I know most of you are probably not on vacation like we are, or staycationing as it were. But hopefully you're doing something nice for your day. Got outside if it was good weather where you are. Oh, I butchered that a little bit, but that's okay. It's fine. Now we're just going to leave it. I'll cut this out, but just call that a day. Yeah, hopefully you were able to do so. We had gorgeous weather here. Just nice. Worked on my puzzle some more. I'm kind of, I think I've said this before, so sorry if I repeat. Kind of taking my time with it because it's the last one I've got for a while, and all these news outlets are like, oh, everybody's remembering puzzles. And I'm like, I never forgot puzzles. But now they're running out of puzzles because everybody who apparently did, as if you could forget jigsaw puzzles, is going and buying them. So they're running out. There you go. Well, all right then. Let me get these breadcrumbs. All right, so actually we'll bring this over here. Everything else we need is over here. And this, if it was not the little balls, we would be slicing these. But we're just going to pick the little balls apart instead. Mozzarella. It's like buffalo mozzarella, I think is what it winds up getting called. It's so good. This is definitely a thing, like, my dad and stepmom always liked making this. This is very much a dinner kind of that I got from them. Many times in my youth, having like appetizer like this, or honestly, if we just made a ton of it and we weren't too hungry, this was dinner. Because it's so good. But it's great because as it is we're just going to lightly coat it with a little oil and balsamic vinegar, is it'll keep if you don't eat all of it, which sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. So we'll see what we wind up doing with it. I'm going to wash my hands. Alright. Then it's good if you have fresh basil. They did not have much in terms of that. So this will work. I say that and actually I'm really concerned I have fresh basil. Alright, I'm right. I didn't. This will do in a pinch. Fresh basil, of course, is better, but it works in a pinch. And that's what we're dealing with. And then, come out. I'm just going to kind of drizzle some balsamic vinegar over it. Then we're also going to put a little bit of olive oil over it, because we are doing that stuff with the bread. You can also just layer this on your bread, depending on how you're feeling. Or if, I tell you what, if you have arugula and you have this and you just chop it a little finer, makes a great caprese salad. So good with arugula. We do that sometimes too. Alright, so now our appetizer is ready, and that's good. Because we've got 25 more minutes before it'll be time to put the asparagus in, which means got at least 15 to 20 minutes before I have to make the asparagus because it's pretty quick. So I'm going to pause you guys while we go enjoy our appetizer. Alright, it's time to move on to the asparagus. We loved our caprese. So I know I've done this before because I've shown you I keep it in both the rubber bands. It's just faster. Cut off parts we're not using at the bottom. So much faster. Voila! And they were washed. I'm going to take this off. That off. Alright, so cute pieces though. Alright, so now we've got them. They're ready to go. Do a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. You guys knew this was coming. Garlic. Never have too much. Definitely have to get some more this week. And then with it, a little parmesan a little shred of parmesan. There. So good. And you just mix it all up. And we'll kind of pour what's left at the bottom on top, just to make sure. See, it's all nicely coated. And take the pan out of the oven. Oh, it's so steamy. Alright. Hot. Pour it on out. You're going to spread them out. Oh, stay closed, my little potatoes. Stay closed. Alright. Getting it all spread out. I'm going to do this to. There we go. That's looking really good. Okay. Now we can have the last few. It's missing a head. Poor little asparagus. Alright. So with that, then we'll add on it. But the salmon, is that what we had it with, guys? I have to look back through. Occurred to me, did a total of 26 of these last month. And I did my very first one on the last day of March. This is the 28th Preheat with Kaitlin. For those who've been here from the beginning, thank you. I appreciate it. For those who recently joined, you've got plenty of catching up to do if you feel the urge. Alright. So we're going to set the timer for 30 minutes. And in about 15, we'll come back for the steak. By the way, the steak are sitting out because you want them sitting out for about 20 to 30 minutes before you cook them. They need to hit room temperature, so make sure your steaks are out if you're following along at home. Alright, so our steak's been sitting out about 25 minutes. So, get them each on a paper towel. You'll notice they are bacon wrapped because this is a decent size. Don't actually cook them with the bacon on. You're welcome to if you really like it. I don't, and Sean would rather have his bacon on his baked potato anyway. And he gets to have my bacon on his baked potato too. Because I'm not going to put it on a sweet potato. I know. You can, it's just not what I'm feeling. Alright. So, you pat them dry. You've got them at room temp. You pat them dry. We've got oil. Just a little bit, just very, very shallow amount of oil in the pan over there. We'll move you over here. I'm going to move you guys, so we're going to put them in there, but I'm going to put them in there first. Then I'll move you. Actually, I'm going to leave that one and then move you guys in a second. Because Sean likes his a little more well done than I like mine. So his gets to go in for a few minutes before mine goes on. Alright. Move you guys. See. You've got that in there. So let that go. You see how it's sizzling and bubbling up. That's good. Just do an oil first. We're going to add any little seasonings to it after. It's already got, and this we already know, the kind that we wound up getting has some cracked pepper and salt on it. But we don't really get it, otherwise any kind of dry. If it was nothing on it, I would add salt and pepper. But like I said, these already came with it on it, so even having dry, you can still put it in the food. Salt and pepper. We got this going on kind of a medium heat. Like I said, I'm going to want mine a little less done than you want to. Now we'll add another. And while those are done, before we flip them, I'm just going to move you back a little bit. So a lot of people do not know how to tell if it's done. That is great. See? That's good. After we flip it, after we know it's cooked a bit more, we're going to put some butter and some garlic in there. Because it was just salt and pepper and garlic. Now we got all the time. So just got this on, cooking itself for a while. And then it only heated up for a couple of minutes before we put it in, but it was a very low heat. So it's very low amount of oil. And what we're trying to do is to guarantee there's a sear on this side. So when you flip it, you're just going to kind of let it cook the rest on that side. So it's making sure that sear is good. Stay tuned. So there's sear on each side. What we're going to do now they've been cooking pretty well. Stayed under there for about 3.5, 4 minutes. Now we're just cutting in with butter. Do this thing, we're going to drain some of the oil to brown in the butter. Turn the heat down a little. Alright, turn it back up on. Sometimes the butter needs a little help staying on there, depending on how the cake's going. Right, and then the garlic, kind of just drizzle a little bit on there. And then we're just going to cover it up for about another 2 minutes. Take the top on it. Let everything kind of settle in, and then we're going to take it all out. Alright. Very impressed. See, that's very firm. Got more give. So, kind of in the medium well range here. More into just medium range for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover them and let them sit for about 5 minutes. I'll let his bacon start cooking. And I'm just going to cover it, flip it once, and then it'll be pretty much ready for him. It's cooked with the same thing. But very peppery, garlicky bacon, which he likes on his potatoes, so it works. He like garlic mashed potatoes with bacon. I can see the appeal. So it's going to cook, let it cook. Our stuff will come out of the oven in a few minutes, and we will check back in. Alright, we're getting this stuff out of the oven. About ready to all get plated. Look how good the bacon's almost done. Our potatoes are done. Come on. But touch the hot pan with my bare hands. That was not going to be my smartest move. Asparagus. Good. And we don't always plate, but for us, why not? It can be part of it. When you're making a fancy meal, you kind of want to play it fancy too. Pretty picture. Some states are starting to reopen. Or require a little bit of maneuvering. Okay, let's get his steak over. You're going to get this little one over there. He's going to be quite happy. This is actually. There we go. Need the right angle. Be able to get it done. Not the asparagus that's sticking so much as the cheese. There we go. Might have overwhelmed the asparagus. But we live and we learn, right? We live and we learn. Can you ever truly overturn anything? Can you? Let's see, there we go. Some fancy plating work too with our dough. And then put that there. I'll let his bacon down a little. So here, I'll show you what he'll be putting on his potato once it drains the grease a little. Gonna remove that from heat. Alright, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a good start to your weekend.